I just replaced AT&T in my dividend growth portfolio. I want to tell you what I replaced AT&T with and the impact of these trades on my portfolio. Hi, I'm Dave Van Knapp. Before I get started, let me ask that if you like this content, please click the thumb up button, subscribe to this channel, and ring the bell to get notifications when we post a new video. Thank you. My dividend growth portfolio, or DGP, has been described in other videos, and I won't repeat all the details here. It's generally a buy and hold operation with little turnover, but sometimes stuff happens. AT&T made an announcement a few weeks ago that I decided called for action on my part. I described AT&T's restructuring and shrinkage plan in a video dated June 2nd, so I won't repeat that information here. In a nutshell, AT&T presented 3 reasons to replace it. First, it did not raise its dividend this year, meaning that right now its dividend is frozen. Second, AT&T announced that it is spinning off a significant portion of its business, which will shrink the company. And third, the shrinkage, in turn, will force the company to cut its dividend by about 40% next year when the restructuring is finished. In short, AT&T is no longer a reliable dividend growth company. I know there are plenty of reasons to keep AT&T anyway, but they don't fit my investing strategy. So on Thursday, July 8th, I sold AT&T. I completely liquidated my position of 232 shares. The date, July 8th, was not chosen randomly. It was AT&T's ex-dividend date for its third quarter dividend. That means that I will receive AT&T's third quarter dividend even though I no longer own the shares. That's what the ex-dividend date means. If the seller of a stock, and in this case that's me, sells on or after the ex-dividend date, he or she gets the next dividend rather than the person who bought the share. This slide summarizes my liquidation of AT&T on July 8th. I sold all the shares I owned, which is 232, completely emptying my portfolio of AT&T. The total proceeds on that sale were $6,550, and an important number because this is about dividend growth investing, the annual dividend income that I lost, in other words, meaning how much AT&T was paying me per year at its frozen dividend rate, is $482. Because AT&T has had a depressed price since its announcement, its yield has gone up over 7%. I had no illusions about replacing all of that $482 income with different stocks. Instead, I made my goal to replace over half of the income with stocks of higher quality, safer dividends, and better growth rates. I talked about my 11 stock shopping list in the June 2nd video, so I won't repeat that information here. I decided to split the proceeds from selling AT&T 1/3 into the company called Pinnacle West Capital and the other 2/3 into AbbVie. These two graphs show both companies in a nutshell. Pinnacle West Capital, the name makes it sound like it's a bank, but it's not. It's a utility, mostly located in Arizona. It's a current position in my portfolio. Reading across, its yield is 4%. Its five-year dividend growth rate has been 6% per year for the last 5 years. It has a short dividend growth streak of 9 years. Its quality snapshot is high, and that is one of the most attractive things to me since I'm trying to move up the quality scale in replacing AT&T. It gets 22 out of 25 points on my quality snapshot system, and I believe that it's currently fairly valued, if not a little undervalued. Currently in the DGP, it has a 2.1% position. I allow up to 8% as the maximum size of a position, so there's room for me to grow it a little, and that's what I'm doing by buying it. AbbVie is the pharmaceutical giant that you've all heard of. Its yield is 4.5%, and it has a 5-year growth rate, dividend growth rate of 18% a year, which is very fast for a stock with such a high yield. It's only been doing this for 7 years on the one hand, but on the other hand, AbbVie is a spin-off from Abbott Laboratories, which broke itself into two companies 7 years ago. Abbott itself was a dividend aristocrat, and its two spin-off companies, one still called Abbott and the other called AbbVie, have continued to raise their dividends every year. So even though its dividend streak is just 7 years, technically, one could argue that its actual dividend streak, the culture of the company to raise its dividend, goes back for decades. It scores okay on the quality snapshot, 17 out of 25 points. I consider anything 15 points or above to be investable, and so it qualifies on quality. Again, I see it as having a fair valuation, and the current position in the dividend growth portfolio is none until I make this purchase. It's a new position in the portfolio. Here's the purchase summary for Pinnacle West. I used about 1/3 of the proceeds of selling AT&T to buy 26 shares. And as I just said, that adds to an existing position in Pinnacle West. I spent $2,178 on the 26 shares, and the annual dividend income gained as I try and replace some of the AT&T income I lost by selling those shares is $86 a year at Pinnacle West's current run rate. And here's the summary of the purchase of AbbVie. Spending 2/3 of the proceeds gave me enough money to buy 37 shares. It's a new position in the portfolio. Total cost was almost $4,300, and the annual dividend income gained from the purchase is $192. Since I sold one stock and bought one new stock, the portfolio stays at 29 positions. If you add up the income from the two new purchases, I'll get $288 per year from the new shares of Pinnacle West and the new shares of AbbVie. That's almost $200 less than I was getting from AT&T, but I did hit my target of making up more than half the income with these replacement purchases. These two charts show a summary of my dividend growth portfolio before I sold AT&T and after I sold it and replaced it with Pinnacle West and AbbVie. Now let's go across, the columns and the charts are the same, so I'll go across the columns and speak to both situations. Before I sold AT&T, I had an annual income run rate of $5,211, which was a yield on cost of 11.1%. Because I lost a couple $100 in the dividend run rate, looking at the lower chart in the left column, after I sold AT&T and replaced it, my annual income is now $5,007 per year at current dividend run rates, which is a yield on cost of 10.7%. Moving to the middle column, you can see how the replacement of AT&T by two really better quality companies with safer dividends improved the dividend safety of the portfolio. Before I made the transactions, 9% of my income, which was the income coming from AT&T, was deemed to be unsafe by Simply Safe Dividends, which I use for these kinds of statistics, and 80% was considered to be likely safe, which is the dark green part of that circular graph. After I made the transactions, the unsafe income from AT&T is gone. There is no more unsafe income, and that all moves over into the likely safe category. So that's a huge step up in dividend quality and overall quality of the portfolio. The third column shows the portfolio's organic dividend growth rate, taking all the stocks in the portfolio and taking a snapshot of them and showing their past 5-year dividend growth rate for those particular stocks. And you can see that before I sold AT&T, which had a slow dividend growth rate of about 2% per year before it froze its dividend, which made it zero, the overall organic growth rate of the portfolio was 5.8% per year. And then looking down, after I replaced it, That jumped all the way up by almost 1% to 6.7% per year. This slide shows something that I accomplished by holding on to AT&T until its ex-dividend date. As I said earlier, that means that I will get AT&T's third quarter dividend, which should be $121. By selling it when I did, I locked in my entitlement to that dividend. But the way the dividend dates for these three companies line up, I bought PNW and AbbVie both before their upcoming ex-dividend dates. So I will also get the third quarter dividends from each of those companies. In Pinnacle West case, that means $22. And in AbbVie's case, it means $48. Okay, this slide wraps up everything this video has been about. I replaced AT&T because of its upcoming dividend cut and because of its general lack of dividend safety with two better quality stocks, Pinnacle West and AbbVie. Financially, shown in the first column here, I lost $204 overall in annual dividend run rate by making that replacement. I did this year only make up $121 by grabbing AT&T's third quarter dividend before I lose the stock. And my annual dividend run rate is still higher than at the beginning of the year. Remember, the run rate has now dropped to $5,007. It was about $4,900 at the beginning of the year. So I've already made up some of the deficit through earlier month dividend increases and dividend reinvestments. In the middle column, the outcomes were my income is much safer, and I have no unsafe dividend scores now on my quality, the circular graph that shows the safety of the dividend. The growth rate, the organic growth rate, goes up from 5.8 to 6.7% per year. So in future years, I can expect to see a faster portfolio dividend growth rate. And I have 6 months left this year to reduce the deficit that's still remaining from the swap of AT&T for the other two companies. During those 6 months left in this year, I expect another 11 or so dividend increases from the stocks that I own. And I will also have the additive effect of making 6 more dividend reinvestments in the portfolio. That wraps up this discussion. I hope it was understandable to you, including what I did and why I did it. Please remember to click the buttons, and that's a wrap. Goodbye, everybody.